All right, welcome back. So we are diving here into the finale of Predator vs. Spider-Man by Ben Percy and crew. And it's here where we get to see the full circle of the three-part hunt between the Skinner, the Predator without honor, the other three Predators that are looking for him, and Kraven, with of course Spider-Man being caught in the middle of all of it. So we begin here with MJ and her new friend coming out of the sewers back to the surface. And it's mentioned here how they come from the darkness below into the darkness above. The city remained in a blackout. The streets are empty at this late hour, everyone retreating to their beds to wait out the worst heat wave the city has known. But just as they emerge, so does Skinner, the Yautja who hunts without honor. And like he's done before, he mimics the sounds of his victims by saying, "Help me, help me." Because as it's stated here, this Yautja delights in the skins of its prey. It does not hunt for honor, it hunts for fear. But then boom, an explosion goes off right behind him. And it's the same explosion that was caused here by the fight between Spider-Man and the other three Predators who had just come looking for Skinner. And luckily for MJ and her friend, that explosion was just a distraction that they needed, because now Skinner knows the other Predators are here for him, which means he is in danger and he has to protect himself. But you see, they're not the only ones that are hunting him, because enter another hunter here, the hunter of this city, Kraven. And he also rises from the sewers in pursuit of Skinner. Now, meanwhile here, we cut back to Detective LaPearl and J. Jonah Jameson outside of the Daily Bugle. Because remember from the last time, Spider-Man had managed to knock one of the Predators out of the window that he was fighting. And although the Predator was cocooned in webs, he manages to break free. And now he set his sights here on LaPearl and Jameson. But just as he was about to deliver a deadly blow, he stopped, because he's pierced mid-stride here by a sword coated in glowing green blood. And whose sword is it? None other than the Skinners, the killer of prey and Predator alike. But then in this moment here, we jump back to Spider-Man and the other two Predators. And as it's mentioned, the hunting party isn't there for Spider-Man, but he is enough of a threat and an annoyance that they aren't going to move on until his head is on a pike. But of course, Spider-Man can't help himself with all these quips. He's like, "Yeah, guys, I've already got a stacked rogues gallery. I don't need a bunch of horseshoe crab-headed space weirdos suddenly deciding New York would be a fun place to destroy. Maybe you could make trouble elsewhere, like Jersey?" Which was right before Spider-Man gets knocked out of the window. But meanwhile here for Skinner, Skinner knows that his best chance of survival isn't an assault on the Yautja, it's to return to the shadows. If he destroys their ship, they will be trapped here with him in this dark, hot maze of a city he now knows so well. He is so focused on them that he fails to realize that there is another hunter that is stalking him. And that's when we see Kraven jump out of the shadows. And it's mentioned here that Kraven is here for this most dangerous game. He has hunted every Predator on this planet. And this fight here is brutal. They're trading deadly blows, each soaked, by the way, in the blood of each other, which is gross. But for Kraven, he had bested the Skinner, as it's mentioned that now he turns his attention to the stars. And in this moment, after defeating Skinner, he lets out this primal roar with the head of Skinner gripped in his hands. But here's the thing, the trouble wasn't over, because it's mentioned here that once Kraven's primal cry dies off, another sound takes its place. The countdown of a self-destruct mechanism capable of destroying half the city. And the thing is, Spider-Man knew it too, because the spider sense brought him here to the top of the roof. Even though Peter has suffered some broken ribs and ringing in his ears that won't stop, he knows that he has to spring into action. Now, when he asks, "What is that thing?" Kraven lets him know. He's like, "It is the death to us all." So Spider-Man is like, "Bro, you gotta cut it off." So that's exactly what Kraven does. Kraven cuts off his hands. And Spider-Man, he strings the bomb hands up in his web. Now, under normal circumstances, of course, Kraven and Spider-Man are mortal enemies. But these are not normal circumstances here, because as it's mentioned, Spider-Man knows it will not be enough. But he wraps the bomb in his spider silk to muffle it. And as he swings on by, he can't even hear the sound of Mary Jane calling to him. But even though he doesn't hear her, the thought of MJ is always with him. He would sacrifice himself for the city, but he would die 1,000,000 times over just for her. So Spider-Man does the best that he can. he brings the bomb over here to the famous bridge. But then we don't see Spider-Man anymore as the bomb goes off. And in that moment here, Kraven says to himself, he's like, I always imagined my blade would end Spider-Man, but that was worth a worthy death. But before he could even ponder on that thought, here comes another Predator behind him. And to his surprise, he's like, hold on, there's more of you? But good. And in this moment again though, Kraven goes toe to toe with another Predator. And while he does his best to come out on top, he realizes in this moment that he may have met his match. As he says at the arms here of the Predator, he's like, if I'm going to die, then let me die like this at the hands of a great hunter. Meanwhile, back on the ground, Detective LaPearl and J. Jonah Jameson, well, they're preparing themselves here to write their narratives of this whole entire mess that has happened. But in the midst of it all, they hear a sound. And when they go over to one of the Predators, they realize it's still alive. And while Detective LaPearl goes to shoot it, a voice comes in that says, gun down, hands up, step away from the specimen. And when we see who it is Dr. Abraham Cornelius. Yes, the scientist that was a part of the Weapon X program, the one who helped bond adamantium to Wolverine's skeleton, and various other weapon projects. And then he says, and I want to thank you in advance for your discretion and absolute cooperation. Now in the midst of it all, MJ is just looking for her Peter Parker, but all she can see is explosion and smoke until she hears a voice that says, hey beautiful, mind giving me a hand? But when we jump back over here to the fight between the Predator and Kraven, something interesting happens. Because as one of the Predators here collects the body of Skinner, the other one lets go of Kraven. So Kraven's like, yo, what is this? Why do you free me? And then it's explained here. As this Yautja says, his forehead burns as the Yautja makes a mark on him. The mark left at crime scenes that span the globe and the century. The mark of Skinner. Kraven hasn't just been spared. He has been branded as the ultimate killer, a bloodied warrior. And as this Yautja goes back into their ship, he says, a great hunter, come and get it. And as they take off, Peter and MJ have this last final moment. And she's like, they're gone, we're safe. And Peter's like, I wish I believed that. But then MJ, just wanted to bask in the moment, says, hey, look at me. We don't get many breaks between monsters. Let's enjoy this one while we can. All right, so it's not a perfect ending, but it's a satisfying enough ending. Now, this is all supposed to be setting up here for this next series. It's supposed to be where Predator kills the entire Marvel Universe. And this is supposed to be coming out sometime here in mid-August, so we're definitely going to be covering that here on the channel. But I'm curious, what were your overall thoughts here on this particular series? Would love to hear it. Leave it down below in the comments. Also as well, if you could do us a favor here and leave a like on this video for the YouTube algorithm, we'd appreciate it. Also subscribe if you're new to the channel. Shout out also to all of our current members of the channel as well. Thor's biggest fan, Brick, over on YouTube, and then also Synchro and Jamie here over on Patreon. And if you're looking for a way to be able to support the channel so that you can help us to grow even further, then you can also become a channel member as well. So if you've been liking our content and you want to see us keep going, then consider joining as well. Check out the links that are down below in the description. And until next time, thank you so much for kicking in with Keepin the Comic. Bye.